So today I want to talk about social acceptance and why it's so important to so many different people. So if you can resonate with this, keep on watching, keep on listening. Hope you might find it quite interesting. Welcome back to consecutive day 1852 of a diary of a Runpreneur. And today's topic is all about social acceptance and why so many of us crave it. But before we get into that, please don't forget that this vlog is part of a fundraiser of saving the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultramarathon of run vlogging on consecutive days, a distance of a lap of the world, barefoot style, and more people we get in front of, more money we raise, more children's lives we save, which is why I do this every single day. So back to the topic at hand, social acceptance. So interestingly, my kids are all growing up now. They're 14, 12 and 10. And seeing them develop and grow is quite fascinating as a parent, because we see them growing into a world where kind of social circles, statuses and all of this type of stuff becomes far more kind of important to them than it was kind of, I think probably my 10-year-old is still probably within that bracket, but certainly my 12-year-old and 14-year-old, 14-year-old boy, 12-year-old girl are now at the age where they've kind of got their own social circles and they arrange their own kind of social events and that type of stuff, and other people's opinions and their social acceptance becomes incredibly important, to the extent that quite often I witness them around their peers and they're not themselves. It's like they're putting on this persona so that others can perceive them to be a certain way, because it's kind of the craving of social acceptance, popularity, all that type of thing. And it's quite an interesting thing, because you can understand it with kind of children going through the developmental years where they're trying to find their own inner self-confidence and find out who they really are. To be perfectly honest with you, they're kind of exploring and experimenting it in their teenage years, really. But interestingly as well, it doesn't just stop in kind of adolescence years. It's when you get to kind of an adult as well, I still see so many people that crave this. I mean, you just have to look on social media for all the examples under the sun, but just how people crave social acceptance, and they crave this kind of people to perceive them in a certain way, and they're potentially too proud to kind of explain or display what life is really like to them, because that's the thing that's so dangerous about social media with children in particular, especially teenagers as well, is that they're not fully aware that what people are putting on social media is what they want people to know or to see about them, the person who's kind of putting the content out there. And it's not a case of they kind of look at it and think, well, that's how their life must really be. And that's quite dangerous. In fact, it's incredibly dangerous to kind of teenagers in particular, because it gives them this false perception of life, and that's quite concerning. But yeah, I suppose when I'm in my 40s now, so I still am concerned about what people think about me, and of course I care, but certainly less so than when I was a teenager. And I think as you get older, you find kind of comfort in understanding who you really are, and you kind of become more kind of accepting that people either like you or they don't, and that's okay, as long as you do your best to be a good person, of course. So yeah, it's quite interesting, because I'm witnessing a lot of changes with my children now, and I'm trying to educate them and make them feel comfortable with their own bodies and their own personalities, but it's quite difficult, because they're going through stages in their lives that's really important to them, how people are perceiving them, and I think it's pretty important all through your life, really, in terms of depending on what you do. Certainly if you're in the public domain, people's opinions of you, but it's not necessarily important, because I have this argument all the time. It's like the people who are kind of being the brand of something, then it's a little bit different. Obviously, reputation and how they're perceived is everything. But for normal people who aren't associated with a brand or a personal brand, it doesn't matter that much. It's just that you be the best version of yourself, or you be the best person you can be. And then people will take it or leave you. So I'm going to summarise this one now. I think in learnings from my diary today are that as a parent of teenage children, seeing them interact in their social circles now and kind of craving this social acceptance, to kind of be in the popular group or to be seen in this way. It's quite an interesting developmental stage of their lives, really, because they're trying to find who they are. They're trying to learn that themselves. And it's quite interesting and fascinating seeing them on this development curve. The dangers of it, though, is that there's so many people that are older and have passed that stage into their adult years that are still craving that social acceptance. And I'm not saying it's completely wrong, but if you look on the kind of social media, you know, you get millions of examples of people who are craving social acceptance. And the concerning thing is that those kind of images and videos and content that they're putting out there, you know, as an adult, you know that they're only showing people what they want to be shown, what they want to show. So it's only a snippet of their life that they're probably going to display as this is normal for them, but it probably isn't. It's a perception of who they want to be. And the danger is, with teenagers in particular, is they're so influenced by this content. I think as a parent, we have a duty of care to kind of teach them that this isn't reality. This is people trying to get their perception of who they are out there into the domain, so people, you know, craving social acceptance. And I think it's okay to want acceptance. There's nothing wrong with it, as long as it doesn't take over your life and it doesn't have an adverse effect on you, so you become kind of depressed or you lose confidence because you're trying to be perceived as something that you're not. And I think that's the danger, certainly with teenagers and with adults, and it can have such an impact on mental health. So I think we have a duty to, as adults or parents, to kind of educate our children in this so that they're aware, and to try and find self-confidence in who they are and what they stand for, and not be too influenced by this kind of tsunami of content on social media platforms that are showing people in an unrealistic light. And that's the key there, unrealistic. And to show them that, do you know what? People are only showing what they want to be, how they want to be seen. They're not showing the reality. Reality is often incredibly different from what or how they want to be perceived. So anyway, that's it from me. Questions or comments, drop me a line. I'll respond to everyone. Do remember though, if you believe in my mission of saving the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultramarathon of run vlogging on consecutive days of distance of a lap of the world, barefoot style, do give this a subscribe, share, like and comment. More people we get in front of, more money we raise, more children's lives we save, which is why I do this every single day. Thank you as always. Stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you again tomorrow.